Porsche. There is no substitute.
Ever since I've been a young child, I've been really into cars. Like, really into them. Now, picture this. It's
1994.
and your boy just got his license. So I'm bouncing around like,
I'm a free man.
and I just knew that this was like Willy Wonka's golden ticket to all my dreams coming true. The plan that I had was now in full effect.
Let's do this.
Let's do this.
So I approached my parents like,
Mom, Dad, can I ask you something?
and in that moment, I'm trying to use the Jedi mind trick.
Perhaps buy him a car.
But my parents were psychic, at least with me. They knew what I wanted as soon as I approached and immediately reacted like,
It's out the season.
You serious?
so I'm standing there like, of course. I'm like begging. I'm looking at them like,
Pretty please.
and still grinning. They looked at me and went,
No.
Absolutely not.
all I could do was leave the situation with the sound of engines dying in my head.
Vroom.
And there were so many cars that I wanted. Oh my goodness, the 90s was just a fantastic time for cars. But now that I'm older, I have a chance to go back and get some of these goodies. So when I was thinking about it, I was like, what cars from back then would really make my list to go back and live out 16-year-old me's childhood dream? So today, we're gonna get into some of the hottest 90s cars that we all wanted, and some of us still do. When the Mazda Miata first hit the streets in 1989, it was like a breath of fresh air in the automotive world. Lightweight, nimble, and certainly fun, this little roadster was the perfect blend of retro charm and modern engineering. Inspired by classic British roadsters like the MG and Triumph, the Miata brought all the joys of open-top driving without the reliability headaches those older cars were known for. It was an instant hit, quickly becoming a cultural icon of the 90s and earning a permanent place in the hearts of car enthusiasts everywhere. Under the hood, the Miata wasn't about raw power, it was about balance and precision. Its 1.6-liter inline-4 engine produced a modest 116 horsepower in its early years, but combined with its feather-light chassis, perfectly tuned suspension, and responsive steering, it delivered a driving experience that was pure joy. Whether you wanted to carve through winding back roads or cruise along the coast with the top down, the Miata made every journey feel like an adventure. Beyond its driving dynamics, the Miata's approachable price point and bulletproof reliability made it accessible to a wide range of buyers. It wasn't just a car for enthusiasts, it was for anyone who wanted to reconnect with the simple, unfiltered joy of driving. Decades later, the Miata remains a symbol of fun, proving you don't need big horsepower or flashy features to make a car unforgettable. In the 90s, the Miata wasn't just a car, it was a movement, and its legacy continues to this day. Zoom, zoom. The Nissan 300ZX, a shining star of the 90s sports car scene, captured the essence of performance and innovation wrapped in a sleek, futuristic design. Part of Nissan's legendary Z car lineage, the 300ZX, sold as the Fairlady Z in Japan, represented a perfect blend of power, style, and cutting-edge technology. It came in two main variants, the naturally aspirated version, offering a respectable 222 horsepower, and the monstrous turbocharged beast that delivered an exhilarating 300 horsepower. With its twin turbocharged 3.0-liter V6 engine, the turbo model could rocket from 0 to 60 miles an hour in just over 5 seconds, making it a serious contender in the high-performance market. But the 300Z wasn't just about speed. Nissan packed it with advanced features for its time, including 4-wheel steering, a sophisticated multi-link suspension, and an interior that felt like a cockpit designed with the driver in mind. Its timeless design, penned by the talented team led by Toshio Yamashita, featured smooth lines, pop-up headlights, and a low, aggressive stance that still turns heads today. I love those pop-up headlights. The 300Z Turbo, in particular, became a poster child for 90s performance cars and a favorite amongst tuners and enthusiasts. With its balance of raw power and refined handling, the 300Z solidified its place as one of the hottest cars of the decade, a car that enthusiasts and myself still chase and admire. Now, the Plymouth Prowler wasn't just a car. It was a rolling art piece that looked like it had leapt straight out of a comic book. Introduced in 1997 and produced until 2002, the Prowler turned heads wherever it went with its retro-inspired design. Its sleek, open-wheel fenders, long nose, and chopped-down cockpit paid homage to classic hot rods, but with a futuristic twist that could only come from the creative minds at Chrysler in the 90s. It wasn't just a car. It was a bold design experiment that dared to be different, and for that, it has cemented itself as one of the most iconic cars of the decade. Beneath its show-stopping exterior, the Prowler housed a 3.5-liter V6 engine producing 214 horsepower in the earlier models and bumped to 253 horsepower in the later years. While it wasn't the fire-breathing beast some enthusiasts might have hoped for, the lightweight aluminum construction ensured it could still sprint from 0 to 60 miles an hour in a respectable 5.9 seconds. Paired with a 4-speed automatic transmission with auto-stick manual shifting, it offered a smooth, cruiser-friendly ride. But let's be real, the Prowler wasn't about raw performance. It was a statement car, designed to turn heads and spark conversations wherever it went. Whether you loved it or thought it was too radical, the Prowler is a perfect example of 90s automotive audacity. Now, if you let me tell it, the 3000 GT was one of the best things Mitsubishi ever put out, embodying the bold spirit of an era when Japanese automakers were pushing boundaries in design, performance, and technology. Introduced in the early 90s, the 3000 GT was a sleek, futuristic sports car that could easily hold its own against heavyweights like the Toyota Supra, the Nissan 300Z, and the Mazda RX-7. But what really set the GT apart was its high-tech approach to performance. Available in the high-performance VR4 trim, it boasted a 3.0-liter twin turbocharged V6 engine, delivering an impressive 320 horsepower. Paired with an advanced all-wheel drive system and a 6-speed manual transmission. At a time where most sports cars prioritized raw power, the 3000 GT brought sophistication, making it one of the most advanced cars of its generation. Mitsubishi didn't just stop at power and performance. The GT came loaded with features that were revolutionary for its time. The VR4 model featured active aerodynamics, including a rear spoiler that adjusted for optimal downforce, and an adjustable suspension system that could switch between sport and touring modes. Even more impressive was the retractable hardtop convertible version, the 3000 GT Spider VR4, which brought a level of luxury and exclusivity that was practically unheard of in its class. However, all this innovation came at a price. The VR4 Spider cost just under $70,000 in 1990s dollars, which today translates to over 100 grand. Despite its high price tag though, the GT has earned its place as one of the coolest and most coveted cars of the decade, a shining example of the Japanese sports car golden era. Seems as Mazda found itself back on this list with the amazing RX-7. Launched in the early 1990s, the third generation RX-7, known as the FD, epitomized everything thrilling about the decade's sports car scene. With its sleek aerodynamic design and pop-up headlights like the 300Z, the RX-7 looked like it was designed to live on the pages of a car magazine. And that's frankly where I saw it first. And it delivered the performance to match. At its heart was a 1.3-liter twin-rotor Wankel rotary engine, turbocharged to produce up to 276 horsepower in its Japanese spec versions, though US models were slightly detuned. What set the RX-7 apart, though, wasn't just its power, but its exceptional balance thanks to the near-perfect 50-50 weight distribution and a curb weight just under 2,800 pounds. This car was a driver's dream, offering razor-sharp handling and a thrilling driving experience. The RX-7's legendary rotary engine was both its greatest asset and its Achilles heel. While the lightweight and compact engine allowed Mazda to design a car with incredible balance and agility, it required meticulous maintenance and had a reputation for being less than reliable over time compared to traditional piston engines. But for enthusiasts, the trade-off was worth it. The RX-7 wasn't just fast, it was refined, with a suspension and steering setup that made it feel at home on both the track and winding back roads. Its timeless design still turns heads today, and the RX-7 remains a favorite among car collectors and tuners alike. In the 90s, it wasn't just a car, it was a gateway to pure driving exhilaration. We know the 90s was a golden era for sports cars, and that Chevy Corvette stood tall as one of the most iconic rides in that time. During this period, the Corvette C4 was in its prime, and by the mid-90s, Chevy had refined it into a performance machine that us car lovers could not get enough of. Sleek aerodynamic styling paired with raw all-American muscle made it a must-have for speed junkies and car collectors alike. Whether you were hitting the open road or just cruising through town, the Corvette guaranteed heads would turn. One of the standout models of the decade was that 96 Corvette Grand Sport, released as a farewell to the C4 generation. Dressed in Admiral blue with a white stripe and iconic red hash marks on the fenders, the limited edition masterpiece was as much art as it was engineering. Under the hood, it packed a potent LT4 V8 engine churning out 330 horsepower, enough to rocket it from 0 to 60 in under 5 seconds. The Grand Sport wasn't just about speed, it was a tribute to Corvette's racing heritage and remains one of the most collectible Corvettes to this day. For those that wanted a bit more flash, however, the Corvette ZR1 was the ultimate expression of 90s success. Dubbed the King of the Hill, the ZR1 came equipped with a 5.7-liter LT5 V8 engine developed in collaboration with Lotus that pumped out an impressive 405 horsepower. With a top speed of 180 miles an hour and advanced handling capabilities, it was a serious contender against European exotics of the time, like the 911. The 90s Corvette didn't just define American sports car, it proved they could stand toe-to-toe with the best in the world. As the R&B song goes, someone please call 911. The Porsche 911 of the 90s was a quintessential blend of timeless design, exhilarating performance, and cutting-edge engineering that cemented its place as an icon of the decade. At the heart of its appeal was its distinct silhouette. Those rounded headlights, sloping roofline, and muscular haunches that screamed sophistication and speed. The 911 wasn't just a car, it was a status symbol. Let's be honest. A badge of success that let the world know that you valued precision, luxury, and a bit of adrenaline-fueled fun. Models like the 993, introduced in '94, were particularly beloved for being the last generation of Porsche's air-cooled engine, a feature that enthusiasts still rave about today. With a flat-six engine that delivered an unmistakable roar, the 911 combined raw power with razor-sharp handling, making every drive a thrill. But the 90s weren't just about preserving tradition for Porsche. They were also a time of innovation. The 993 generation brought advancements like a multi-link rear suspension, which dramatically improved the car's handling and made it more accessible to less seasoned drivers. Porsche also introduced the turbo model, featuring all-wheel drive and twin turbochargers that churned out an impressive 400 horsepower. For those who wanted even more exclusivity, there was the Carrera RS, a stripped-down, track-focused version that remains a collector's dream. Whether you were a weekend racer or simply wanted a car that turned heads on the way to dinner, the 911 delivered. It was a machine that bridged the gap between the analog charm of classic sports cars and the technological advancements that would define the future, making it a true standout in the high-octane world of 90s performance vehicles. Now, if you're a car enthusiast even in the slightest, or if you were ever a fan of any 90s cars, this one right here should stop you in your tracks. The Toyota Supra, specifically the 4th generation Toyota Supra, also known as the MK4 Supra, became an instant icon when it debuted in 1993. This was not just a car. It was a high-performance masterpiece that combined sleek, aerodynamic styling with jaw-dropping power. At its heart was the legendary 3.0-liter 2JZ GTE inline-6 engine, which featured twin turbochargers and produced 276 horsepower in Japan and upwards of 320 horsepower in export markets. It was a car that could rocket from 0 to 60 in just 4.6 seconds and had a top speed that bordered on supercar territory. Now, what made the Supra truly special, though, was its versatility. It wasn't just fast, it was reliable and highly tunable. I know some people who have gotten Supras to 1,000+ horsepower, quickly earning a cult following among car enthusiasts and gearheads. With relatively minor modifications, the 2JZ engine could handle absurd amounts of power, making it a darling of the aftermarket scene. And of course, its starring role in the Fast and the Furious solidified its legendary status, turning it into a cultural phenomenon. Today, the MK4 Supra isn't just remembered as one of the best cars of the 90s, it's considered one of the greatest sports cars of all time. Prices for clean examples of this has skyrocketed in recent years, a testament to its enduring legacy and the impact it made on the automotive industry. Good luck getting your hands on one of those. However, this remains one of my dream cars. Now, when we're discussing 90s cars, few vehicles can match the raw, unfiltered attitude of the Dodge Viper. Born as a concept car in the late 80s, the Viper roared onto the scene in 1992, refining what it meant to be an American muscle car. This car was a beast designed to thrill and terrify in equal measure. With its massive 8.0-liter V10 engine producing 400 horsepower and 465 pound-feet of torque, this first-generation Viper RT10 had enough grunt to leave even seasoned drivers white-knuckled. And let's not forget its striking design. The long hood, side-mounted exhaust pipes, and curves that screamed performance. It wasn't just a car, it was a statement, a scary one. The Viper was unapologetically old school, lacking the creature comforts of its contemporaries. Air conditioning? Optional. Windows? Zipper plastic curtains on the early models. Safety aids like traction control or ABS? Forget about it. Dodge wanted you to feel the road. And with its 6-speed manual transmission and rear-wheel drive, the Viper delivered an exhilaratingly raw driving experience. This pierced approach resonated with car enthusiasts who craved adrenaline over convenience. By the time the second-generation Viper GTS rolled out in 1996, Dodge had refined the formula with a fixed roof, more horsepower, and a striking double-bubble roof design. Whether tearing down the straightaway or turning heads at a car meet, the Viper cemented its place as one of the hottest cars of the 90s. Honda, oh Honda. When the NSX debuted in 1990, it was a game changer. An exotic sports car with the reliability and practicality that Acura, Honda's luxury division, was known for. The NSX combined a striking design with an engine that was as refined as it was powerful. Powered by a 3.0-liter V6 engine, it produced 270 horsepower, which, while not the most powerful of its competitors, was more than enough to send this lightweight beauty racing from 0 to 60 in just over 5 seconds. It had the agility and finesse of a European sports car, but with the smooth, hassle-free ownership experience of a Japanese vehicle. What really set the NSX apart was its engineering. It featured a lightweight aluminum body that not only enhanced its performance, but also made it feel nimble and responsive on the road. The car's handling was legendary, thanks in part to its near-perfect balance and precision-tuned suspension. With its mid-engine design and refined aerodynamics, the NSX offered driving enthusiasts an experience that could compete with the likes of Ferrari and Porsche at a fraction of the price. The NSX's combination of cutting-edge technology, iconic design, and rock-solid reliability made it one of the most desired cars of the 90s, and it remains a symbol of what happens when Japanese engineering meets high-end performance. Even today, the NSX, and not the new one, not the remake, we're talking the 90s one, is still revered as one of the most iconic sports cars ever to come out in the 90s. And there's our list of some of the hottest 90s cars we all wanted. Which ones did you like? I can tell you right now. That NSX, that Supra, and quiet as kept, that RX-7. Oh, those are, I like speed too. Did I mention that? I like speed too. Those three, oh man, my wife has to make sure, like if I ever won the lottery, I would have like a 50 car garage. I can tell you that right now. I can tell you that. So which ones did you like? Did I leave some off? I'm sure I left some off, because if I listed everyone that I wanted, this would be an 8-hour video. So which ones did you like? Let me know down in the comments. Did any of them hold their value? Are any of those you're thinking about going to go get at any point? Or do you already own one? If you own one, definitely tell me about it. I'm gonna live vicariously through you. At least for some of them, I'm sure. So y'all know what to do, right? Like, comment, subscribe. I appreciate you, family. We're gonna continue to have fun and continue doing a whole array of videos and topics here on this channel. So, as always, love you, love somebody else, and I'll see y'all soon.